Hello there, you're watching AMN English. This is our weekly program, Diplomatic Corner. Today, I have brought to you a guest, Sri Lankan Ambassador Shanta Kumarasiri. We're going to discuss bilateral and multilateral relations between the two countries, Sri Lanka and Ethiopia. And also we will touch some other regional and continental and international issues. Stay with us. Well, Ambassador, welcome to the studio. I really appreciate your time and your willingness here. Let's go to the bilateral relation between the two countries. I know Ethiopia and Sri Lanka have had a robust relationship since the 1970s. Both nations are now just looking to explore areas to connect or to enhance, including people-to-people ties. Anything you say about the current bilateral relations of the two countries?
Yeah, because we try to engage politically with the authorities of the two countries, and also we try to promote our engagement with the business sector. Particularly, we have about 4 investors in Ethiopia, particularly in the manufacturing of apparel manufacturing. In Hawassa Industrial Park, we have 4 investors. For years, they are almost 10 years now. And we are also trying to expand it to other areas of cooperations. And currently, I initially also mentioned about 300 Sri Lankans are working in the apparel industry. Not only
here in Ethiopia,
not only in Sri Lankan companies, but of course other companies, China, India, and also South Korean companies. They are providing kind of a technical assistance because they are professionals and they are in the industry for almost 30 years now. And they are experts in the field, and they are also contributing to your economy, and also they are training young Ethiopians here. Under them are almost, I think, 15,000 Ethiopians are working in all those factories. And of course, a huge kind of empowerment of the young people in this country. We are also contributing. And in addition to the manufacturing sector, and we have other interest of the renewable energy, there are a lot of companies who are interested in starting joint venture with Ethiopia, particularly of the solar and hydro, and also the wind power generation. That we have our role is to kind of build a kind of a network, bringing them, it's a matchmaking process what we are doing, bringing them together. So we have introduced 7 companies in the construction field and engineering field, particularly on the development aspect of building small scale mini power hydro plants, and also solar plants, and then housing, road networks, and bridges, and all those constructions work, engineering. So we have introduced, and also Ethiopian chamber, also Addis Ababa chamber and sectoral association, and came forward to build a kind of a partnership. We will be signing a MOU very soon with the Addis Chamber and the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce. It's a kind of a platform for us to engage, particularly with the business community between two countries. There are other sectors as well, particularly agriculture. Sri Lanka is a small country. We have exploited our land, and sometimes the energy cost is high. Now we are expanding our agricultural cooperation into this continent as well. There are a lot of investors in other countries around in Africa. So interest has also shown by several agricultural companies, industries, to have a joint venture. And also cosmetic industry is another area. We are working with, we have already interviewed 5 Ethiopian companies to a Sri Lankan company, which is a well-known Sri Lankan company, to build a kind of a joint venture. That partnership is going on. And also mining and all, mineral, gem and jewelry, and those are the areas that we are, try to build a kind of partnership. Yes.
Business and trade is one of the great area of the two countries' relationship. But Sri Lanka's export is much greater than that of Ethiopia to Sri Lanka. So there is a kind of huge gap. In this regard, Ethiopia needs to do a lot to export its products to Sri Lanka.
Yes.
In this regard, Ethiopia needs to do a lot. So you have already told me the extent the Sri Lanka's investment here in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
But what challenges have you observed during your tenure in 1 year in terms of just foreign investors to invest here in Ethiopia, particularly for Sri Lankan investors to invest in Ethiopia? What obstacles or challenges have you observed here? It might be from the government, from the other partners, just hinder the investment of foreign investors to invest in Ethiopia.
I think we have very strong relationship within Ethiopian Investment Commission and also other partner agencies and the ministries and all, particularly the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Industries and all. Though it's a collaboration is there, but certain elements that we were trying to address, particularly with regard to the forex issue, and also that is those four major Sri Lankan companies in the apparel industry, they came here that mainly because of AGOA, and some other reasons was there, and the labor and infrastructure development and all, those were the attractions, and AGOA contributed them to expand a large volume of garments to the US, the market of the USA. And without AGOA, they were struggling, and they have now temporarily got some kind of assistance from the government, and also found out some new markets in Europe, particularly France, UK and Germany. And those were the challenges actually they were initially facing, that because of the termination of AGOA, and they had to depend on a new market, and also they wanted to find new buyers. Particularly, they used to produce like about volume of 6 months, huge sum of volume for the garments, and they had to scale down production capacity up to 40%, that because of you don't have new buyers, because of you don't have AGOA. But now of course they have found new markets, and earlier they were facing with regard to forex issues, though particularly the raw materials, fabric and all, you had to import either from India, China or Vietnam and all. So sometimes though you have money in the bank, the national banks and the central bank, the release in the fund to get this raw material was a challenge. I think several interventions were made, and the government took a very strong action with regard to particularly with regard to the investors who are here, already here, not the new investors, the investors who initiated kind of the partnership with local partners, or it's the own investors. That challenge, I think with the support of the National Bank, I believe they have overcome it. Of course, still there are a few areas that has to be addressed, I believe. Eventually that will be addressed.
All right. Your embassy here in Addis Ababa, what is that it is doing to just work on people-to-people ties between the two nations?
Yeah, actually our main the target, the intention or the role is to connect people, and it's a matchmaking, and we try to integrate with the people and business community, stakeholders, institutions, and also connect them with local partners and also Sri Lankan partners. It is our role is to narrow down the gap. I initially mentioned we have a huge problem here. We don't know each other. So that's our role is this kind of interview and engagement always, I think, contribute us to narrow down who we are. We have seen a lot of potential in Africa, a huge market and the resources, young populations, everything is there. So we had to change the perceptions, particularly with regard to the policy makers and the industry experts and all. Come and see, because in our government, under the my president's leadership and also institutional engagement, we have introduced a new foreign policy, Look Africa, and it was introduced in 2023. where all the African ambassadors gathered in Colombo. Sri Lanka is the capital city. He met the president of Sri Lanka. We have all the business leaders in Sri Lanka. It's about 50 multilateral companies in Sri Lanka gathered together with these partner countries and had a business forum as well. And we introduced Look Africa foreign policy.
Yeah, Ambassador, I would ask you
yes,
that particularly,
yes.
but it's cultural events, cultural exchanges, people to people ties. Just here, Ethiopian people do not know about the culture, the people of Sri Lanka, and the embassy has a huge responsibility in this regard.
Yes.
So, in this, in terms of this, is there any activity that your embassy has been doing here?
Particularly under the public diplomatic initiatives. And we used to engage with the community, with the Sri Lankan community as well as the Ethiopians here, and also our Sri Lankan friends, foreign countries, and all are here. We organized at the golf club last year. It's Sri Lankan National New Year, Sinhala and Tamil New Year celebration in April last year. It was a huge success. Over 200 people attended that event. It's a cultural festival of Sri Lanka. It's a traditional Sri Lankan games and attended by many foreign diplomats and also local participants. We held it at the golf club, and also we had a diplomatic bazaar where Sri Lankan community who are in Addis Ababa and also Hawassa came together and provided Sri Lankan cuisine, the cultural food, and it was enjoyed by many participants. So over I think 5,000, 10,000 people participated. They enjoyed Ceylon tea, Sri Lankan black tea, and Sri Lankan dress and traditional dress, and also they enjoyed hoppers. It's a Sri Lankan pancake and Sri Lankan rice and curry. All Sri Lankan kottu they enjoyed. And also to this February we hosted Independence Day celebration of Sri Lanka in one of the hotels in Addis Ababa. It also attracted by many foreigners. We try to engage with them, and this year we are going to have our New Year celebration in Hawassa. And our Sri Lankan community, those in the industrial park, those 5 companies got together and they will be organizing. We are also collaborating with them. Then we, like from Addis, we will have about 60 people attending the celebration. We are inviting the mayor, the chairman of the industrial investment commissions, and the head of the organizations, institutions in Hawassa to take part at that celebration. And we have invited several ambassadors here. Some of course will be traveling from Addis to Hawassa. People will be able to enjoy Sri Lankan food, and they can take part at their Sri Lankan traditional games, the festivals and all. It will be a huge celebration.
That's after 2 or 3 weeks?
Yes,
21st
of it's a Sunday, entire day. We starting from 8:30 to 4:30. We'll be there. Yes, yes. I invite our Ethiopian friends also take part. Last time also they took part, many Ethiopians, even the children and all, games for the children. And they also took part at this event, and it's a kind of a bringing all these communities together to celebrate a national event and also propagate in Sri Lanka the rich culture within this country. That is also motive.
You personally are close to the media, I think, so that is also a big asset to just foster the relationship between the two countries, particularly the people-to-people ties.
Yes.
The last question takes you us to where I interrupted you talking about the Africa and Sri Lanka relations. So Africa, as you know, has a huge market, and its population by itself is huge, and it has also a great potential in the future for trade, for other sectors, by the way. So to increase the ties with this continent for any country around the world, it is great. It's the kind of asset. Particularly for Sri Lanka, it is great. So in terms of relations with the continent Africa, what is that Sri Lanka has been doing?
Yeah, because we have invited Ethiopian Airlines to fly to commence their direct flight to Colombo.
It has commenced?
Yes, not yet. Now they are flying to India and Karachi last year May. Then they are planning to go to Bangladesh. And also we made a formal request to the Ethiopian Airlines to commence the direct flight to Colombo. There is a positive reaction, and we are working last Friday also I had a meeting, and there's a positive reaction, and also they need to evaluate to do the feasibility and all, and this is everything is positive. That once that connection is established, I believe we can expand our relations entire Africa. Under the foreign policy initiative of Look Africa, where we try to engage with Ethiopia, not only Ethiopia and other countries as well. I am also particularly accredited to Djibouti and Somalia, and we try to enhance our relation with those countries as well. Particularly on the regional elements, we try to promote the blue economic activities. It is particularly with regard to the Sri Lanka is surrounded by ocean, Indian Ocean, and also many of the almost 14 African countries are connected with the sea. So we try to, that is why we try to promote blue economy, under which we will try to promote the fisheries sector cooperations, and also the marine environment, protection of the marine environment, and also green energy engagement, and maybe sea explorations and all. So those are the areas that we are trying to connect. And also when it comes to the our relations with West Africa and all, many investors are interested in in investing in the manufacturing sector and energy sector, and also the road constructions, because we have seen, and Africa is trying to connect each other, each countries under the AFCFTA and all. So this free trade agreements and also visa free engagement with the maybe unique passports and all, and unique digital currency and all, we try to connect, and also we try to integrate with those systems. So this is something that our policymakers and industry partners are looking forward.
All right. Yes. Ambassador, anything in your mind that I didn't touch in my questions, please?
No, I think you covered all the elements of our relations, and also we had to engage more and more, narrow down the gap, and also we try to connect all the sectors, not only the political or trade and all, as you mentioned, like people to people understanding, the relations and all, and visa free policies and all, open access. These are the areas we had to concentrate.
All right, Ambassador, I really thank you again for your time, for coming here to the studio. Behalf of Addis Media Network English program, I really appreciate you, and I would like to say thank you. Well, of one that was Ambassador Shanta, Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Ethiopia and to the African Union. That's it for now. Until we meet you with another guest next week. Have a wonderful time.